We live in a world where we are constantly in a complicated web of expectations. This cycle of expectations often results in numerous daily disappointments. But what's even more challenging is that our everyday lives are shaped by this complex dance of expectations, making us expect certain things from ourselves and others. But this fine line between hope and reality often leaves us feeling let down and angry when our hopes and dreams don't come true. Let's make a clear picture. You have put in a huge amount of time and effort at work to get that long-awaited rise. But when the news comes out, it's not what you thought would happen. As you try to make sense of the difference between your hopes and reality, your heart sinks and sadness washes over you. Or maybe, in a personal connection, you've held on tight to the idea that a close friend would always be loyal and loving, only to see that bond slowly fall apart. This complicated dance between expectations and reality is like a sensitive tango, where dancers often trip and fall, trying to keep their balance in life's crazy beat. When we're feeling weak and unsure, we want direction, a theory that can help us get through our problems and find peace and happiness. This is where Stoicism comes in. Stoicism is a school of thought that has stood the test of time and is just as important now as it was when it was first created. This old theory, which was started in Athens around 300 BCE by the wise Zeno of Citium, is more than just information about the past. It gives deep insights into the human mind and useful advice for dealing with life's problems. Stoicism offers a beautiful and surprisingly easy way to deal with the age-old problem of expectations. It tells us to turn our attention from the constantly changing outside world to the peaceful place inside ourselves. Stoicism advises us to focus on the parts of life we can influence and to accept the parts of life we can't change with grace. This video takes you on a unique trip into the heart of Stoicism. We'll look at how its ancient knowledge can help us find our way through the maze of our expectations and find deep acceptance in our modern lives. We'll find the changing power of this ancient philosophy in our search for peace and happiness as we uncover its threads and weave them into the fabric of our daily lives. In this video, the storm of expectations meets the calm of acceptance, and where the old wisdom of the Stoics can help us find a way to survive the rough seas of our hopes and failures. We will talk about how to manage our expectations and how to embrace the freeing philosophy of Stoicism. The problem of expectations. Expectations are an important part of being human. We naturally look forward to seeing how our actions and the actions of those around us turn out. Take the excitement you feel when you plan a long-awaited trip as an example. You imagine a relaxing vacation where you can lay out in the sun on a beautiful beach and drink coconut water while watching the waves come in. It's a beautiful picture, and you can't wait for the trip. But it's when these expectations become unrealistic or out of your control that they can become strong emotional causes for a wide range of bad feelings. Now let's look at that vacation case again. Imagine getting to your dream vacation spot and finding a cloudy sky, a steady rainstorm, and a beach that's too crowded. Your dream of heaven breaks apart, leaving you with sadness and anger. This shows the mental chaos that can happen when expectations are too high or too false. It's not just about vacations. These expectations affect many parts of our lives, from our relationships to our job goals. These things weigh us down and pull us into the depths of sadness, anger, and stress. That being said, this is exactly when Stoicism comes in handy, giving us a useful view on how expectations work. It gives us tried and true tools for getting through these rough seas and leads us to the calm beaches of acceptance and strength. In the next few chapters, we'll go on a trip into the heart of Stoicism to find its deep insights and useful advice for dealing with expectations and living a happier, more fulfilling life. The Stoic Solution. Stoicism is a strong way to deal with the problems that our expectations cause. It helps people separate things into two main groups: things they can change and things they can't. A lot of people call this important idea the dichotomy of control. Let's use a common situation to break it down. Imagine that you and your friends want to go on a picnic. You have power over things like picking a place to meet, making the food, and choosing the activities. These things are right in your area of impact. You can't change the weather, though. You have no power over whether or not it rains on the day of your picnic. Stoicism tells you to be smart about how you spend your time and energy by focusing on what you can control, like the decisions, actions, and attitudes you have. At the same time, it tells you to be calm about things in life that you can't change, like the weather or other people's acts. If you look at things from this Stoic point of view, you can better understand and handle the complex web of expectations. It's like putting on a clear pair of glasses that help you see what you can change and what you must accept as it is. We'll look at how this Stoic concept can be used in real life to make it more fair and satisfying in the parts that follow. What's within our control? People who follow Stoicism strongly believe that our inner world is the key to our peace and sense of control. Stoics say that we have full control over our thoughts, decisions, wants, and actions. Just like a horse's reins, let us steer it however we want. So, this means that we naturally have the power to choose how to react to the many things that happen in our lives. Finally, let's go back to our lunch in the rain. The lunch with your friends was carefully planned, but the weather doesn't agree, and it starts to pour down rain. It's your thoughts, decisions, and deeds that matter in this case. You can respond with rage, anger, and sadness, blaming the sky for making your day so bad. You could also pick a different road that fits with Stoic ideas. Stoicism tells you to pay attention to your inner world, which is something you can control in this situation. You can choose to change how you see things, knowing that you can't stop the rain. You don't have to dwell on your sadness. Instead, you can accept things as they are, and maybe even find joy in the last-minute change of plans. You are now in charge of your mental reaction thanks to this change in how you think. You feel a deep sense of control and peace when you get better at managing your thoughts, decisions, and actions. It feels like you're in charge of your emotional chariot and need to stay calm and determined as you ride through life's storms. In the next parts of this piece, we'll talk more about the practical ways that Stoicism can help you build up your inner strength and resilience so that you can handle life's problems with calmness. What's beyond our control? On the other hand, Stoicism teaches us a deep lesson about accepting the limits of our power. We should remember that some things in life are out of our control, no matter how much we want to change or shape them. Some of these hard-to-pin-down things are outside events, other people's acts, and even the unstoppable passage of time. Again, think about what happened at our rainy lunch. In this case, the weather is a standard example of something outside of your power. You try your hardest, but the rain won't stop, no matter how much you want the skies to be clear. Stoicism tells us that outside factors like the weather are controlled by fate, chance, and the universe's whims. Trying to make these things do what we want can be frustrating and pointless. Stopping the raindrops from falling is like trying to stop time. We will feel helpless and annoyed. Acceptance is the main thing that Stoics do when they face things they can't change. When we recognize the limits of our power and learn to let go of the desire to control them, we free ourselves from the chains of anger and pointlessness. It's like letting go of a big load, which makes our hearts and minds lighter and lets us move on. Let's look at some useful Stoic techniques that can help us find that fine line between what we can control and what we must accept. We will be able to develop endurance and peace of mind through these techniques, which will help us deal with an unpredictable life. Developing virtue. At the heart of Stoic thought is a strong focus on developing and promoting virtues. The moral guide and leading stars for our actions and choices are these virtues, including wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. These are the things that hold us up as we try to find our way through life's complicated and often confusing territory. They give us the moral direction and the strength to keep going. Think of these virtues as the lights that show you the way through the bad times in life. Let's look at an example. Imagine yourself in a situation where a co-worker is taking credit for your work at work. At this point, the value of justice will show you the way. Supporting what's right, dealing with things in a fair and honest way, and making sure that credit is given where credit is due are all things that this quote supports. For the same reason, wisdom tells you to think about what might happen and face the situation with a clear head. Fear makes you avoid facing the problem. Courage tells you to do so, even if it makes you feel bad. Being self-disciplined helps you stay calm and not respond emotionally or quickly. By making decisions and acting in line with these Stoic virtues, you not only make better, more moral choices, but you also feel more at peace with yourself. You become the master of your own ship and have to steer it through the rough waters of life's problems with unwavering honesty and strength. The parts that follow will talk about useful ways to develop these virtues and use them in our everyday lives, using the timeless wisdom of Stoicism to live a more meaningful and good life. What mindfulness can do for you. The Stoic theory views mindfulness as a crucial tool for coping with expectations and accepting what is. Stoics believe that we should always and clearly be aware of our inner world. They highlight how important it is to be very aware of our thoughts and deeds. In mindfulness, we become more aware of our thoughts and feelings as they come up, which gives us the power to handle them with more awareness and control. Think of mindfulness as a soft light that we shine on our minds to see how they work. Like a magnifying glass, it lets us see our thoughts and feelings more clearly and precisely. Imagine that on your way to work every day, you run into an unplanned problem, like a traffic jam or a train that is late. Frustration and impatience are frequently brought on by these circumstances. Mindfulness, on the other hand, allows you to separate yourself from your instant emotional reaction so that you can see it clearly. Stoicism pushes us to look inside ourselves and become aware of our own feelings and thoughts. By doing this, we learn more about our emotions and find the expectations that drive them. Being self-aware gives us the power to choose our behaviors instead of letting natural, often harmful ones take over. In the eyes of the Stoics, mindfulness is like having a trusty passenger with you on life's trip. When things happen outside of our expectations, it helps us navigate the rough patches of our inner world and keeps us calm. Let me show you some useful methods for bringing mindfulness into our daily lives. We will also look at how this Stoic practice can help us better handle our expectations and find acceptance when life is unsure. Acceptance and adaptation of the situation. Stoicism's ancient wisdom teaches us a valuable lesson about the importance of accepting and adapting to one's surroundings. It shows us that real wisdom doesn't come from fighting reality or complaining over and over again. Real wisdom comes from learning how to accept reality and work with it. By doing this, we free ourselves from the weight of false expectations and find deep peace in the face of the inevitable difficulties in life. Think about something that many of us have experienced: plans being changed at the last minute. Imagine that you were really looking forward to something outside, like a trip or a day at the beach. But as the day goes on, it's clear that the weather has other ideas and your plans get soaked in a rain. Stoicism is whispering in your ear right now that the way to peace isn't in pointless frustration or lamenting the uncertain weather, but in accepting what is. You can free yourself from sadness and resistance by accepting that some things, like the weather, are out of your control. Instead, you give yourself the chance to find happiness in changing your plans, like doing something inside or enjoying the comfort of your own home. Stoicism gives us the courage to dance with the unknowns of life rather than fighting them. We are being asked to calmly enter the beat of accepting, to give in to the ups and downs of life, and to find peace by letting go of the weight of our expectations. Now, it's time for some exercises that can help us better handle our expectations with grace and resilience, aligning with Stoic principles. Negative visualization. Negative visualization is a strong Stoic technique. Thinking about the worst-case scenarios on purpose is part of this habit. By thinking about what life would be like without certain comforts or advantages, we build resilience and a deep appreciation for the good things we have now. Take a moment to think about the chance of losing your job, for example. Imagine the problems and unknowns that could happen in that situation. This gets your mind ready to handle problems with more strength and calm. Embracing the reality of life's risks and enjoying the stability and wealth we often take for granted are the goals of negative visualization, not living in fear or depression. Practicing gratitude. Stoicism urges us to be thankful all the time. To do this, we need to stop and think about the things in our lives that we often miss or take for granted. Being aware of the easy joys, everyday comforts, and beauty of the present moment is what it's all about. Take a peaceful walk in the park in the morning. It's easy to forget about the peacefulness around you, the beauty of nature, or the warmth of the sun on your skin when you're busy with everyday things. Practicing gratitude forces you to stop, breathe, and enjoy the little things that happen every day. It gives your life a deep sense of happiness and perspective. Journaling. Another helpful Stoic habit is keeping a journal. It gives you an organized place to think about what you've done, thought, and experienced. Journaling is a powerful way to look at yourself and figure out how you can become more like the Stoic virtues. Imagine writing down your thoughts and how you feel about different scenarios in a book. Then, look at your choices considering Stoic values like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. This process not only helps you learn more about yourself, but it also gives you the power to make better, more thoughtful decisions in your daily life. Expectations often lead to failure and unhappiness in this world. Stoicism offers a tried and true way to control our expectations and accept what is. Individuals can create more rewarding and healthy lives by concentrating on what is within their control, developing virtue, practicing mindfulness, and fully accepting acceptance. As you start your Stoic path, keep in mind that happiness doesn't come from constantly chasing after goals that you can't reach. Instead, it grows when we accept things as they are, when we make choices, and when we develop virtues along the way. Stoicism is not just a piece of history, it is a live philosophy that can help anyone find peace and wisdom in the face of life's problems. Let us take a moment to thank you for investing in yourself and coming with us as we learn about Stoicism. You are unique because you are dedicated to improving yourself, and we want you to join us on this journey. Consider subscribing to our channel if you found these ideas helpful. There you'll find more wisdom and advice to make your life better. We can all learn from the Stoics' wisdom and, with a new sense of acceptance, sail through the waves of our expectations toward a life of greater contentment and resilience.